The movie starts with Heather, our main character, who is recording herself while in an attic to send a message to her friend John, telling him where she is and what she is trying to do. She is a paranormal investigator and is currently trying to reach a deceased girl's spirit to find out how she can be freed. The screen flashes a story of the young girl, named Marianne. The story says that Marianne was abducted in 1999 by a horrible man named Ronnie, who ultimately took her life. A week later, the man also took her life, leaving no one to blame for the crime. Marianne's body was never found, only Ronnie's clothing filled with Marianne's blood. For years, investigators followed multiple leads and did tons of interviews to find out her location, but they were all unsuccessful. All of the witnesses just say Ronnie used to brag about multiple murders and threaten to eliminate whoever goes to the police to report him. It seems that Ronnie has this horrible fascination with young girls, as one witness told the police that she discovered his briefcase containing pictures of young girls lying on a bed. Some of those photos even have him lying there next to the girls. Some witnesses reported overhearing Ronnie talking about a girl. He reportedly said that if the girl hadn't taken off running, she would still be alive. This could be Marianne that he was talking about. Heather is trying to reach Marianne to find answers and hopefully find her. The next scene shows a woman cleaning her house when she hears strange sounds. Then upon looking around, she sees the door suddenly open on its own. An ominous feeling overwhelms the woman. The next day, she calls Heather. She is currently investigating another haunted house when she gets the call. The woman invites her over to investigate the bizarre occurrence, and Heather tells her she can come by the next day. Upon arriving, the woman named Rosa explains that it happens at around every 5 in the afternoon. She also says that when she first moved into that place, the weird happenings did not really bother her that much. However, these occurrences seem to be getting worse and worse over time. Heather sets up her equipment and walks around the place. As she is waiting for some occurrence, she notices the door suddenly opening wider, and then a strong wind blows strangely, as if someone is passing right in front of her. This is very similar to what the homeowner experienced previously. That night, while sleeping, she dreams of a little girl in the attic she just visited. This dream makes it difficult for her to sleep. To help her, she turns on the lamp. The next day, she gets a call from her friend John. He tells her that he is finally done with his girlfriend. They recently had a fight and John can no longer take her. Heather tells him it's a good thing because she thinks she is not good for him. She tells him that he should find someone who will do better for him. She also sternly advises him not to call her ever again. That afternoon, Heather goes out for a jog when he runs into John. Heather thinks he is going to his ex-girlfriend and gives him a disappointed look. However, John clarifies that he is on his way to see his dad at the nursing home. When Heather gets home, she gets a call from her mom asking her if she will be home for Thanksgiving. She seems to be going through something and distancing herself from her family. She takes out an orange juice, mixes it with alcohol, and drinks it. The screen then flashes Heather's thoughts. We come to know that she terribly misses her dad, who she lost. She feels very heavy after his passing, making it hard for her even just to breathe every day. Losing her dad feels as if she is frozen in time. Maybe this is why she is so fascinated by the spiritual world, trying to connect with her dad and find answers as to why he just suddenly left. The next day, Heather goes back to the attic to observe for any spiritual contact using her equipment, but nothing happens. A flashback is shown from years ago. She and John are talking at the park while sipping tea when he mentions something about a lady in his dad's nursing home. This lady knows about talking to deceased loved ones, and even offered the experience to John one time, although it just creeped him out. On the other hand, Heather seems very interested in talking to the lady. She wants to know more about her abilities, but John thinks it is not a good idea. However, this seems to be something that pushed Heather to pursue being a paranormal investigator even more. The following scenes show Heather watching some videos online about paranormal activities and taking notes while sipping beer. In a moment, she finds herself in the middle of darkness, seemingly having a vision. She looks confused and observes her surroundings while hearing a voice saying she doesn't belong there. Heather's late dad was also a paranormal investigator. Unable to move on from her beloved dad's passing, she resorted to drinking to relieve her grief. Presently, Heather is still struggling to control her drinking. She stands in front of the refrigerator, opens it, and looks at her orange juice mixed with vodka. Then she closes the door, trying to restrain herself. She does this a few more times before finally giving in and sipping the drink. She continues to watch documentaries about ghosts and crimes. She is still taking notes about those people's experiences, trying to learn more about the spirits they encounter. Then she encounters a website featuring Marianne's story. Days go on and she continues to observe the attic where paranormal activities were sensed by the homeowner. She records herself in the camera, documenting her investigation. While sitting quietly, she suddenly hears static in her recording device. She tries to communicate with whatever she is sensing, and the static buzzes stronger. Then it stops. Heather listened to the recording to check if she captured something. She hears a voice asking if she can hear him, then tells her to go away. The next day, she goes on to look for other investigators to team up with her in visiting houses with paranormal activities. She calls several numbers but gets turned down many times, making her feel disappointed. Then, one of those investigators finally calls her back, agreeing to team up with her and confirming their availability. She then searches for some stories online about reports on paranormal activities. She finds one story about a woman who keeps hearing a girl crying in her house and calls her. She offers her service to the woman and she agrees. That night, she gets caught in the dream again, where she is stuck in the darkness. She keeps hearing voices around her, but the language is foreign, and she doesn't really understand what it is saying. However, she catches a glimpse of Marianne holding out her hand. She gets awakened by this dream. The next day, she and her partner Investigator arrive at the haunted house. The owner welcomes them. She explains that she has been hearing a girl crying in the basement every night. They all sit at the table, with Heather holding her equipment to see if she can record any paranormal activity. Heather's partner starts speaking a foreign language, as if talking to the spirit in the house. He tries to call out to the spirit, but in the end, they do not have any encounter with any strange presence. The house's owner feels a bit embarrassed and shows them out. She goes back home disappointed after the unsuccessful investigation. She is taking a shower when she starts sensing something around her. Then, she hears a voice calling her name. She looks around puzzled where the sound is coming from, and tries to talk to it. Then, her entire surroundings turn red all of a sudden. Her vision is blurry, but she sees a glimpse of the child, Marianne, as if she is calling out to her. The next scene shows Heather walking into a tarot reader's house. The woman has just finished reading another customer's fortune. It is now Heather's turn, and she tells the tarot reader about the girl she keeps seeing in her dreams. She shares that the kid always holds out her hand for her as if wanting to take her somewhere. She says that she takes her hand, but the vision is blurry, and when she is about to see what the kid is showing her, she suddenly wakes up. It's as if something is preventing her from seeing what Marianne is trying to show her. The tarot reader takes out the cards, asks Heather to tap them once, and starts reading. She takes out the first card and the tarot reader explains it shows loneliness. She asks Heather if she's okay. The second card shows black magic. The third one shows sickness. When the woman lays out the last card, she seems to be very terrified all of a sudden. Whatever she read in Heather's card seems so scary that she asks Heather to leave, without any explanation. Heather dreams again the following night. She is standing nude in the middle of the dark. She hears a man's voice saying the kid needs her. She sees Marianne in front of her, holding out her hand, and the voice tells her to take it. She holds her and follows the child. This time, she is able to see what Marianne is showing her clearly. Whatever she sees is so horrible that it makes Heather tear up and scream. The next day, she goes back to the attic, and this time, something happens. She tries to communicate with the spirit again using her recorder when the light suddenly starts blinking and moving. A strong wind blows, making Heather stand up nervously. A hand suddenly covers her eyes from behind, and she starts seeing a clear vision of Marianne. She has just escaped and is running away from her abductor. She finds a building and runs inside a room, then locks it, hoping the bad man will not find her. However, the man follows her and keeps trying to unlock the door. He manages to open it. Marianne is helpless and just cries in the corner. Then, the man attacks her body, and sending her to her demise. The vision is so intense that it's affecting Heather's physical body, making her almost convulse. When she opens her eyes, she sees Marianne right before her eyes and follows her. She knows now that Marianne's spirit needs to be freed from her horrible last moments. Hand in hand, they both walk into the door where Marianne hid. Marianne locks the door, as if she is still running away from the man who took her life. The doorknob keeps rustling while Marianne awaits her demise. However, this time, it's not the horrible man who opens the door. It's Heather. She takes Marianne's hand and leads her outside. This brings Marianne's spirit a sense of relief, as this time, she is able to safely escape the room where she has been trapped. Heather has accomplished her mission. She is able to free the child who has been asking for help for a long time now, leading her outside the room where her spirit is trapped and into the light, where she can finally pass on peacefully. Her effort finally pays off after successfully investigating Marianne's case. She takes a walk around the building once more, trying to absorb what she has just achieved. The next scene shows Heather visiting her dad's grave. She smiles proudly, knowing that she is following her late dad's footsteps. She knows that he has been with her all throughout, helping her.